Yeah. MD. JPB. It's only right, baby.
Yeah. Why you mad? I got a bad bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stuck, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Go on, run it back. You know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this. Damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Hello guys, what is up? It is me, Prince of Otis, and I am back with another video. Yeah, this is already ending. At most, this is only going to be like maybe 20 minutes, or maybe 15 minutes, so yeah, that kind of sucks. But like I said, this is only a test trial. I actually have another what if like waiting up. It's called What If Tanjiro Was a Genius. I made it a long time ago. Might release that instead of What If Deku has Steven Universe's powers, because that's getting boring for me to write. Or I might do this. So pick whichever one you want, you know. The options are laid out for you, and have fun with that. And we're going to begin on the second part. Now, I am not going to do a recap because I literally posted this yesterday. So if you want to see it, please go check out the last video, because it's going to take too long to recap everything that happened. So just go check it out. And yeah, let's just begin. Now, after the turmoil that happened to all the Hashira, they would stand in front of Kaguya being wary of Tanjiro. But Tanjiro had agreed to be restrained and guarded by the Earth Pillar. Meanwhile, Kaguya stands in front of Nezuko. As a child of Gojo, I would like to believe that you have somehow overcome your urges, but your words aren't enough. I'm sure you know that. Nezuko says she knows and is ready for whatever test they have for her, and Kaguya asks for a knife from a guard, and as he gets it, he cuts his finger, leaking out blood, shocking everyone because he has a very weak body, so that's not a good thing to do. Everyone then sees Nezuko's eyes widen and get ready to attack her, only for her to rip a part of her kimono off and quickly wrap up the wound, and she would say, "What are you doing? Start the real test. Why are you hurting yourself?" Everyone is kind of baffled, with Tanjiro showing a prideful look to the Wind Hashira who scowls at him, and Nezuko, after wrapping up Kaguya, notices his blood on her hands, and she would think, why don't I want to drink it? You see, I'm a demon, right? I know I'm a demon. I can shapeshift. I have incredible strength. Is it really because of her dad? She then wipes up the blood and says that she will never drink the blood of a human ever, and she does not need it and still feels human. And Kaguya says this proves that she won't hurt any humans, as she hasn't even shown a hint of bloodlust. And as he asks for Tanjiro to be released, Tanjiro runs to his sister and hugs her. However, some of the Hashiras are not content, but clearly see that their master is not wrong, but it's going to take a while for them to get used to this kid. Kaguya then says, some of you may not be fine with this, and that's to be expected, but I'll be damned if I ever kill a kid of Gojo's with no reason, even if they became demons. His voice became more deep and serious and less calming, as everyone here in some way had been saved by Tanjiro, including Kaguya himself, so they all adapt to him. Tanjiro and Nezuko would then, bow to Kaguya, who says that effective immediately, Tanjiro will be made a pillar. The Hashira of Love would then blush, being excited about this, while the Serpent and Wind Hashira think this is a bit surprising, but Shinobu says that the boy has an ability that does not allow one to touch him, and says he's very formidable. Kaguya then mentions that Tanjiro even encountered Kibutsushi Muzan and survived, and this shocks the pillars because they've never come in contact with him before, and they ask him what happened, and Tanjiro says that he shielded someone with his Limitless when, Muzan was about to turn him into a demon, and he says he must have left after seeing that because I didn't sense any other new demons in the city. Kaguya then says, for that exact reason is why I'm making you a pillar. You will inherit your father's title, the Twilight Hashira. Twilight? The Serpent Hashira then says it refers to a mythical dragon, and it has the ability to manipulate space, and it was an impossible existence, and I can't say it doesn't fit you. Kaguya then says, regardless, you need to pay for your mistakes, and as such, you are being sent on a special mission. You will be accompanied by Rengoku to oversee you, and he will interfere if needed, and score you based on what you do, and of course, you can take Nezuko with you. However, she cannot harm any humans. From then on, I can't protect you anymore. The two then nod as we then cut to the train, and Tanjiro has Nezuko's box beside him. Unfortunately, his friends can't come because they're still rehabilitating, and yet, what's it called? Inosuke almost took down the demon, but he still got hurt a lot and had to be saved. But Zenitsu destroyed the other one, same thing, but they're recovering and getting stronger. And they also decided to train so they can compare to Tanjiro, and in Zenitsu's case, he just wants to stay alive. Tanjiro also didn't see Rengoku enter the train, but can sense him, and he's eating with a lot of enthusiasm, and honestly, it's getting a lot of attention from everyone. Nezuko peeps out of her box, asking, do you think he's noticing everyone looking at him? I just think he doesn't care. He has quite the personality. A train ticket stamper then comes up to Tanjiro, and This is when Tanjiro gets to see another use of his eyes, and he senses a huge amount of eerie energy and sees it surrounding this man and his stapler. And so as the man puts a hole on his ticket, he manages to use infinity to keep the spell away and from reaching him. Tanjiro then thanks the guy, who then walks away in a really weird manner, and Tanjiro walks up, walking to Rengoku, who has his eyes closed and his arms crossed. "Did you let that guy stamp your ticket? Are you perhaps not ready for this mission?" Tanjiro then gets serious, saying that he's now freaking out and whispering that he has a spell surrounding him right now, which surprises Rengoku as he asks what it's gonna do to him, and Tanjiro says that he doesn't know, but he makes a hand sign and proceeds to use his Limitless to push away the spell. "You should be fine now." At this point, the power goes out, and when they turn back on, every passenger in their car is asleep, and in this instant, tendrils of flesh pop out of the sides of the train to attack the sleeping passengers. But moving quickly, they cut the tendrils as Tanjiro will yell, "Nezuko!" And Nezuko jumps out of her box and sees Rengoku and her brother fighting, and she joins in as Tanjiro then says that he can sense the demon. "Where is it on the train?" Rengoku would say, as Tanjiro would say, "It's not on the train, it is the train." Rengoku and Nezuko are shocked to hear this, and Tanjiro says that he'll go take care of its neck, and really quickly, because he could attack people on the train in any car. So as he runs to the next car, tendrils are all over the place, and the floor is now basically flesh, and Tanjiro stabs his sword into the ground, blowing away all the tendrils and focusing. He gathers and puts Limitless over all the passengers there, protecting them, and I mean everyone. And he does the same to the next car and the next car and the car that it was, containing Rengoku and Nezuko. And at this moment is when they would realize it, and they see that the tendrils can't touch the passengers anymore. "Oh no, don't tell me." Rengoku then says he put his Limitless over all the passengers, yes. The two then get worried, and they have a right to be, as at this point already, Tanjiro is already tired because he has never used it to this degree, and he jumps above the train and runs seeing the Dream Demon, but he flips over him and, tries to reach his neck, and the demon would think, he knows. And Tanjiro then pops out to, kill Tanjiro, but he gets a cut in and, cuts it to pieces, and he keeps running and running, dashing, dodging, and slashing anything that's coming at him, and he would just be kind of in pain right now. His heart feels like it's going to explode, honestly. Tanjiro then reaches where he senses the neck to be at, and then he jumps about to slash it when eyes pop up surrounding him. And this is coming from the flesh that's, spreading from the train. However, as the eyes go to put him in a trance, they burst, not being able to handle the power and the complexity of his six eyes. Limitless breathing. All above the cargo grid then slashes down, cutting the neck of the demon clean off, and the Dream Demon starts to die. But before that, he uses his powers to basically just, how do I say this? He just makes the train jump off the tracks, like literally jump into the air and off the tracks. And as he does this, Tanjiro lands and notices this as he jumps quickly and rolls to the side of that the train was falling to, and he screams as he uses all of his power to keep the, the train up, and he's totally descending it while protecting all the passengers because the demon is still not completely dead and the tendrils are still attacking. And at this point, blood comes out of his nose as he would then say, "Come on, just a little bit more." Veins then form on his forehead and his entire body until he's just basically using everything. He's just tired, and slowly he lets the train follow and senses the demon has died, and as such he breathes a sigh of relief. But as he's off guard, he's stabbed in the back of the neck, and the sword is pulled out, and Tanjiro falls to the ground, leaking blood and dying. Nezuko then kicks a window and jumps, landing on the flipped train, and she would say, "Tanjiro, we did it." To the horror of Nezuko, she sees Tanjiro dead on the ground, and two of the demon moons walk up, and these would be Kokushibo, the strongest demon moon, and Akaza, the 5th rank demon moon. I don't know if I'm right about the 5th rank thing, but tell me in the comments, And Akaza would say, "I can't believe you actually backstabbed him, you bastard." Kokushibo then turns around and he shuts up in fear as he would then say, "Have you ever faced the likes of Gojo Kamado? This is not just for Kibutsuchi. This is for all of us demons. I've never seen you be so sentimental," Akaza would say as he scoffs, and then this is when Kokushibo and him see Rengoku and an enraged Nezuko who is grinding her teeth, and much like Tanjiro does, she starts to gather her cursed energy and she unlocks it, her own technique. Biting her finger, Nezuko collapses, releasing a hot spear of a spear of hot blood, and it is fast, but the two demons manage to dodge but still agree she is pretty strong, and Rengoku would ask Nezuko to cover her. Nezuko nods and Rengoku then goes down to fight, while Nezuko uses her powers to fight with her blood manipulation technique. As the fight rages, Tanjiro finds himself in a black space, and he can hear nothing, feel anything, or even see anything, and he would be asking himself if he was dying. But if by the time he realized that he probably was, he just cannot believe it. Tanjiro then starts to think that it can't end this way, but then he starts to hear something, and above him would appear his dad as he grabs Tanjiro's face and caresses it. And he would say, "I knew you surpassed me." Tanjiro then sees his mom appear above him and all his siblings as they say that he's not really gonna die if he refuses to he's really gonna die if he only refuses to get back up and protect what he has left in the real world. And then Gojo would say, remember, my son, just breathe. All of Tanjiro's family members just disappear as his vision warps and he sees it, the core of cursed energy. In the real world, Rengoku and Nezuko at this point were getting destroyed because Kokushibo is too strong, and so is Akaza. And as Rengoku slashes down at Kokushibo, his entire sword is shattered, and then his arm is cut with an upward moon slash. Is this all Demon Slayers have been reduced to? Without Gojo, you cannot even fight properly. Nezuko then punches at Akaza, who catches her punch and twists her arm, but as he does, a blood spear just cuts his cheek as he smiles, realizing that Nezuko bit her own tongue to release blood. Her tongue then regenerates as she says that, you both are just cowards, don't talk about my father or my brother like you know anything. Demon Slayers are always putting themselves at odds against you, don't disrespect their sacrifice. Akaza then goes to land a blow, but this is when his fist is stopped and shattered, and it won't move forward. A chill then runs down his spine, as Tanjiro would say. Well said. They all then look to see Tanjiro slightly floating above the ground and are in shock as Nezuko starts to cry, seeing he somehow survived. And Tanjiro then slashes at Akaza, who doesn't know what to do because he can't see anything, and this is when a sharp purple wave cuts his neck off, making him disintegrate right away, like his entire body just blows away like a bunch of ashes in the wind. And Kokushibo will be kind of shocked and scared as hell, and he then feels a hand on his shoulder and he turns with a rapid slash, only for his sword to be stopped and shattered. You sure had your fun, didn't you? Tanjiro then grabs his arm, crushing as he pulls him in, and palm strikes him twice in the chest, making him spit out a fountain of blood as he then swings him into the sky and appears above him. Limitless breathing. Hollow purple. He then slashes down in insane speeds and cuts Kokushibo so many times that I cannot even count what I'm trying to describe. He gets cut to a million pieces, and this attack feels like an eternity for him as he then says, Gojo, Kamado, I curse you. You've created a monster more terrifying than demons, you bastard. He then turns to nothing as Tanjiro lands, sheathing his sword, and Nezuko then runs to him, hugging him as he pats her on the head, saying, you know, he's okay. And they both hear a thud as this is when Rengoku falls to his knees and he's losing a lot of blood. Too much. And he would then say, that was phenomenal, Tanjiro. Tanjiro then runs to Rengoku and holds his arm, asking him to wait a bit. And he touches it and uses a reverse curse technique, and his arm starts to regrow until it is completely back. And Rengoku would ask, how is this possible? This isn't even a breathing technique anymore. Tanjiro points to his neck, saying that's how he healed himself. He doesn't know how it works, but it works. And he would say, for now, let's get you treated, okay, buddy? Come on. They then head off, and we have a time skip. It's been 15 years as we cut to a much older Nezuko, who is no longer a demon, and at her side will be Zenitsu as she cradles their child. Tanjiro then knocks on the door, and they look and let him in, as Zenitsu would say, shouldn't you be with Kanao and your kid? What, I can't visit my sister? I never said that, brother-in-law, but you're setting a bad example. The two then start to kind of stare down each other before then laughing as Nezuko says that they play way too much and that the baby is crying, so they should shut up. Zenitsu then tries to calm down the daughter, but it doesn't work until Tanjiro simply just looks at her and she stops crying and starts laughing, with Zenitsu getting annoyed. Now, as this happens, we cut over to Kanao at Tanjiro's home, which resides in Kagaya's residence, and their daughter, Haruhi, would open her 6 eyes. Now we cut to Inosuke without his mask on, practicing his breathing style, now being a Hashira, much like Zenitsu, Tanjiro, and Nezuko. Nezuko at this point mastered her technique and is referred to as the Lady of Blood, using her blood breathing, which is never ever been seen before. And but this, she is the strongest and second strongest, since she can control the circulation of her blood when she breathes, which makes her way stronger than any demon slayer. And she can also release blood and like use it in a lot of ways. So if you get cut, you get cut. And like to this point, yeah, she's really strong. And Tanjiro is now called the strongest being, not even like human. He's just being, like he's just the strongest being, the one who stands at the top. And Tanjiro even used his reverse curse technique to heal Kagaya, and now he can see, and he lived out his days in tranquility before he eventually died, because Kagaya isn't as young as he looks. Now, there are still demons to deal with, but that is because Kibutsuji, after being scared of the appearance of Gojo, made more and sent them all over the world, but soon they were all going to be gone anyway. Now, after this, 100 years passes, we see Satoru Gojo, named after the creator of the Limitless technique. Well, not really in that way. The clan Kamado, which was named Kamado, is now Gojo clan, and his name is Satoru. So yeah, and Gojo made the Limitless breathing technique, which was developed by the person who actually used the 6 eyes, who is the greatest user of all times, and he's basically a legend. Like, he's not even a myth, he's an actual legend. He existed, and everyone knew that. And as you know, we didn't see Satoru Gojo. He's standing in front of he's sitting in front of an elder. They're like in this little Japanese style house, as he would then say, and that is how you came to have these eyes. A kid Gojo then scoffs, as he would then say, that sounds stupid, I'm just gonna go train. He then gets up and leaves with the elder sighing, but as Gojo walks off, he smiles, thinking, cool. Now that is the end of this series. Like I said, it was really gonna be short and I was gonna rush it, but this is just to test the water, so calm down. You all knew it was coming. I'm simply, just testing the waters, like I said. So I will be posting what if Asta had was Zoro's reincarnation soon. I'm just working on the Magic Knights exam, and yeah, you guys have a great day. Stay safe.